Much for joining me today on Your Health Matters, the 35th edition of Your Health Matters program. I want to appreciate everyone out there for all your support, for all your text messages and emails. On today's program, I have a special guest. They are all special. You know, all my guests are special. My name, before we go into that, remains Labake, also known as Elizabeth. I have Ola Sanusi. Can you please introduce yourself to my audience, Ola?
Hi, hey, good evening, everyone. Like I said, my name is Ola Sanusi. I'm a mental health practitioner, and I've worked in several different mental health trusts. I started working, actually, I qualified in 2006 as a mental health practitioner. I've worked in various trusts, like I mentioned earlier. I've worked in a forensic unit. I've worked in eating disorders. I've worked in the adult general mental health, and currently I'm working with the access and assessment team in Redbridge. My main role now actually is I'm kind of managing the flow between the primary care and the secondary care. So just to reduce the amount of mental health patients that go to secondary care, so that we actually manage them within the community. So that's where we are today.
Thank you so much, Ola. So today's topic is stigmatization, stigma. So Ola, when we say stigma, what do we mean?
Well, stigma is it's a very very negative word, to be honest. It's just about discriminating against people who are less privileged. People as well. If we're relating to mental illness, is just about discriminating about people with mental illness, and this is quite a difficult thing, especially for the people suffering mental illness. They are discriminated against in terms of employment, in terms of social needs, in time even with their family as well. Actually, that they actually don't have that proper relationship with the family. And actually, the other main thing as well is that the way the media has portrayed mental illness as well, it's in a very, very negative way. It's actually is actually kind of feed the general public with negative attitudes towards mental illness. So when we're saying stigma, stigma actually is something that I've always struggled with, especially with mental illness. I mean, different people have got different stigmas. Actually, Black people have got stigmas as well. White people have got stigmas as well. But when we're relating this to mental illness, it actually affects mental health patients because it stops them from actually getting the help they need. Because they're experiencing mental illness, they are kind of scared of the negative impact they'll get for their families, especially their loved ones. So most of them will actually hide their diagnosis, or they will not tell anyone that what they're going through. Unfortunately, this negative attitude leads to very negative things, actually, which is actually, and some people end up killing themselves just because the discrimination they get from their own family. And I think the issue here is that most people don't know much about mental illness. When someone comes to them and say they've got mental illness, people think, "Oh, what do you mean? You need to get out of it. You can't be doing that. You cannot be depressed." Well, from where we come from, actually, there are people who say men don't get depressed. Men don't cry. Those are the kind of things that I grew up with when I was young. You never show your emotions, and if you don't show your emotions and you keep on getting low mood, it's really really going to affect you. There's nothing you could really do that you could really achieve. So the main thing actually is that it affects them. It doesn't allow them to get the treatment they need. It then actually makes their mental illness worse. They're not able to achieve anything they're supposed to be able to achieve. And the most important thing is that people with mental illness will recover. But if they're not able to get the treatment they need, they're not going to recover. They're not going to get the treatment, so they can't really recover. So it actually makes it worse. They keep keep their illness to themselves, and unfortunately, some of them leads to suicide.
Thank you so much. I think you've actually touched almost my next question in the process of actually
Okay, sorry, I talked
talking.
too much. Sorry.
That's fine. I really love it. That's really nice. Because, you mentioned something while you were talking about stigma in terms of the family. Because you would think if I'm actually feeling unwell, I should be able to run to my family. I should be able to confide with the friends, with that kind of institution called family. So, but
Yeah.
why do we get stigmatized from people, especially let me put it this way. Most people recently that are committing suicide, I realize even professionals like mental health nurses, like doctors, psychiatrists, like therapists, are actually the high rate of professionals committing suicide now because of the stigma, because they think they are professional, they shouldn't be seen getting weak or feeling depressed, and it's leading to suicide. Can you tell me the statistics in terms of suicidal rates that is linked to stigmatization?
Well, that's well, in terms of thinking about the statistics, there is not really clear statistics as of
Okay.
yet. There is a lot of research that needs to be done to link stigma with suicide. Unfortunately, because when some people commit suicide, there's so many other things kind of attached to them committing suicide.
Okay.
So unfortunately, it's not actually there's no research that actually clearly clarifies that this amount of people commit suicide. But stigma is actually one of the most important. Well, I won't say most important, but one of the main factors that lead to people committing suicide. I mean, definitely, like you said, you just mentioned the family institution. We all believe our families actually love us no matter what. But unfortunately, when somebody is experiencing mental health, they speak to their family, and the family actually give them negative attitudes. They will say, wow, they'll be thinking, if my own family, people who I think who loves me, are giving me this kind of attitude, what would the people outside do to me? You know? So that actually then affects them. So obviously they're thinking, oh, my family don't like me. They kind of start and the problem here is that when people use kind of inappropriate words, like, oh, why you mourning? Well, why you sitting down in your room in the darkness? Oh, what? Come on, you need to be strong. You need to do this. You need to do that. Oh, come on, you're so lazy. That kind of language doesn't help people. So when their family telling them all these kind of things, then they will start thinking, well, they're definitely going to get it worse outside. So they actually don't tell anybody outside. So the negative, the family especially, I think people don't know. It's because of lack of education in terms of mental health. People don't know what the impact of their behavior towards the people who suffer mental illness. So unfortunately, they keep on doing what they think is best. That, oh, let me encourage this person to get out of what they're doing. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You don't get over it unless you get the actual proper treatment. So in terms of this kind of things actually lead to people thinking, oh, if my family can't help me, then maybe nobody else can help me. Then they start thinking, oh, is it worth me living? Is there any point in doing this at all? So unfortunately, they think the easy way out is to commit suicide rather than them suffer the discrimination from other people.
So Ola, what do you think family, because you mentioned something that where we come from, men are not allowed to show their emotions. Why?
Yeah.
Why do we think men should not show their weakness? Because
I mean, it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, but you're right. You're very right. You're spot on that.
Yeah. A man is meant to be the main winner, the breadwinner of the family.
Okay.
The main man. I mean, it's exactly when they say, oh, when you're within your friends, when I was going to say, oh, you're the main man, So, I mean, a man is seen as the father figure, that nothing, no matter what, he has to be there, ready for anything. That he cannot be weak. That's the thing. I mean, when men were, well, me especially, when I was.
So, what do you think, Ola? You think he's right? Men should not be weak.
No. Well, men should show their emotions.
Okay.
Clearly. Men needs to show their emotions. I think everybody's got emotions. Okay. So, I mean, if you don't show your emotions, then actually you're going to be suffering internally.
Okay.
There's no two ways about it.
Okay.
It is always going to affect you. I mean, if something is really, really bothering you, I mean, if you don't express it out, if you don't talk about it, and I think that's the major issue, that we don't talk about things.
Okay.
Well, especially men anyway, we don't really want to share things, and people believe, well, especially in our culture, that men should not, why would a man be depressed? But I mean, especially in the kind of situation we're in during this pandemic, there's a lot of people who's actually suffered. They've lost their job, they've lost loved ones. They don't know what the future holds, that kind of thing. That is a lot to affect anybody.
Of course.
Someone who's been working out so many times, so if you don't show that kind of emotion, if you're not able to deal with it, if you don't talk about what you're feeling, it is going to really, really affect that person, and it will really affect that person's mental health, especially men.
But in the family, sometimes I will keep using Nigeria as a case study, because that's where I come from. So, to some people, I'm talking about family members now, they don't actually mean to actually make people feel depressed. It's a way of kind of making them go back on their feet, I'll say. So they'll say, stand up, you can't be in the room all day, you can't be lazing around, you understand? So what is your advice to the family institution, especially for black minorities, in terms of when a man, especially a man, because we women are good at expressing ourselves, when a man is trying to tell people that this is how I'm feeling, what do you think the family members should be doing?
I think the main thing, this is a very, very good question, and quite important for the black community, especially Africans, really. We need to learn how to talk. We need to learn how to share our internal feelings. Me personally, what I do with my kids is I actually sit down with them, and we actually have a day of the week that we all sit down together, which is on a Sunday, and everybody talks about what's going on in their lives. We are able to talk about things, what was actually happening. So, if we learn this from younger age, and we start trying to teach people how to talk about their feelings, that is the main key here, that people should learn how to talk. Nothing should be too big to share with your family, or with the husband sharing with the wife, or the wife sharing with the husband, or even the kids. Because the Nigerian culture is that if a young kid comes in the house and says, I'm gonna have a girlfriend tomorrow, they will start saying, what do you mean? What do you mean girlfriend? But if they actually teach him that, okay, maybe this is not the right time, wait till a particular time, so finish your education, blah, 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 then we could talk about this. But when they say, no, you can't talk this, they start screaming and shouting. That guy, anytime he has any internal, major thing to discuss, he won't discuss it, because he thinks they're going to shout at him, and it's not going to come out. So we all need to actually find ways of talking to people. It took me a while for me to learn how to be able to express myself.
So you're kind of guilty as well.
Yeah. I am guilty, definitely. Unfortunately, it's the way I was brought up. My father is a very strong guy. I'll do anything for him. He's a tough man, bottom line. But here he is. I've never seen him talk about anything that's wrong with him. Never, ever has he said anything, I don't feel too great today. Never. He's always, if there's anything, he just gets on and continues to do what he needs to do. He doesn't really have time to actually sit down, today he wasn't good, or blah, blah, blah. No, he needs to continue. But that's the issue. I'm sure at some point in his life, he must have felt low in mood, or feel, this is way too difficult. Maybe he talks to my mom. I don't know. But that's the point I'm trying to make. That me as his son, I've never seen him
in that situation.
To say, today is I just need to take a break or something. Not never. He's always willing to run, no matter what it is, and that's what kills people, really. Unfortunately, if you're not able to share your internal feelings with people, and people don't know what's going on, they think everything is okay. So unfortunately for us, Africans, it's a taboo to kind of think, oh, you're a weak person, or the people think you're weak, you're not strong enough, or you're not man enough, that
Enough.
kind of thing.
Mm.
Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But if we can find time to sit down and talk about it, educate ourselves about mental health. I mean, the statistics in terms of mental is that 1 in 4 people we have a mental illness. So
Okay.
that's a lot of people. That's a lot. I mean, I remember back when I first started mental health. It was I used to say, oh, when I used to look at the names of patients, then I used to think, oh, there's no Nigerian there, or
Yeah.
Nigeria don't get the press. But unfortunately nowadays,
Now,
if you look at the list now,
his eye.
there's a lot of Nigerian names, which is kind of fortunate that we took us a long time
To
to
realize.
actually realize that, oh yeah, mental illness, people get depressed, and you need to talk about how people could get out of that depression. If people get the right treatment, yeah, people will be fine. But unfortunately, we try to keep it within our family and say, oh no, you can't tell Yalagwaja that you're not well, or that kind of thing. So that's the issue. We need to learn to talk and share our emotions, really. That's the main thing, really.
Thank you, Ola. Can we talk about type of stigma? I think you've mentioned it briefly. Where do we get stigmatized? Where? How?
Sorry, say that again.
Can we talk about type of stigma? You know, you mentioned one bit that we
Yeah,
get
yeah.
stigmatized from the family. So where else?
Well, we get, I mean, obviously, there's what they call social stigma.
Okay.
That is the general public's view of mental illness, exactly, especially. I think the media is not a great example there. The way the media describes mental illness, especially if a mental health patient unfortunately commits the crime, is the way they actually describe it. They call the person a nutter. The headline goes, nutter commits crime or maniac. All those kind of things.
Kind of
Those doesn't help.
subheading.
Exactly. So they try to sensualize the newspaper so that they could actually get sales, but they forget actually that people actually read this and actually take you on board. So, I mean, those kind of words, calling someone a maniac. And even the other thing as well is that in terms of social stigmatization is that, I mean, the movies, when
Okay.
you watch a movie and the way they portray mental health patients in there, it gives actually people, I mean, when young kids watch it and say, oh, I'm not going to tell people because this is the way people are going to see me. So then why should I tell people about my illness? So those are kind of things. And even there's social stigmatization within the family, which we've talked about already. There's even when I work in your workplace as well, actually.
Okay.
People are actually worried that if they discuss the mental illness with their employer, that they will get fired or they will think they're not up to the job.
But hold on a minute. Does it mean if somebody has mental health illness, they are not allowed to do certain job? Is there any law that says that?
Well, there is a law actually in terms of Equality Act, which helps people actually, which fights people being discriminated against. So if someone is actually discriminated against you at work, it is actually against the law. Yeah. So the Mental Act, Equality Act, actually supports people with mental illness. They are supposed to have a job just like everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but if you look at it in another way, is that there might be some jobs that could be quite stressful.
Like,
Well, I'm just thinking off the top of my head now. I mean, if someone is working, doing a night work,
okay.
yeah. So, and this person is actually suffering from mental illness or something like that, and they're not getting enough sleep.
Okay.
If they're not getting enough sleep, it's going to affect their mental health.
Okay.
So it depends. But what happens is, in that kind of situation, the employer will actually make what is called working adjustments.
Okay.
So they could actually then adjust to kind of suit him. They cannot fire him. I mean, it's totally illegal for them to fire him because he's mentally unwell. They will need to work around him to make things. It's just like someone who's got disability.
Okay.
You cannot fire someone that you just have to make the work environment a better place for that disability, that person with disability to be able to move around. So the same to mental illness. They need to kind of work around the mental health patient. So they need to put things in place to support the mental health so that it doesn't affect their mental illness.
I know there is a law in put in place to say people should not be discriminated based on their mental health state. And
Yeah.
I've seen patients come in, when they come in for an assessment, they will say, I don't want my employer to know. And when I say to them, do you know there is a law that actually backs you up, that nobody should discriminate, that the fact that you have mental illness, but the
Yeah.
thing is that between, let's be factual here, they do discriminate. They won't just say it's because most patients have come, and as soon as they know, they won't actually really say it's because of their mental health illness. It will always be one issue or the other, and they will get them so much, they put much pressure on them. At the end of the day, these people will actually say, I think it's because I've actually disclosed the fact that I have mental health illness. And I think that aspect, we need to look into it, because the society is putting pressure on people not coming out to talk because of the stigma. You understand? Just imagine, everybody knows I'm a nurse. You understand? And I come to work and I'm saying to you, I have this and that. Are you sure people will not be kind of a bit funny around me? You understand? I think we need to be all aware the effect we are having on people, because it is because of this stigma. That's why people are not talking out, especially where we come from. Mental health is seen as a mad person, as in mad, as in total. At least they're using manic, they're using other this thing, but as in terms of the way they perceive people with mental illness. If you laugh too much, people will think, oh, be careful, the thing has started again. So I think we need to all be aware in terms of, I'm talking because I've seen professional come around to say they have this thing and they've been put in that box. That, you know what, stylishly, I think the employers, and I don't know, to be honest, if that art is really, really functioning, that we need to look into. You understand?
I think the act is functioning.
Okay.
The issue here is evidence, and to prove that someone is actually discriminated against you based on your illness. So that's where the tricky bit is. You need to have the evidence to actually
be able to
say, oh, yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying, that they will kind of look for something different, blah, 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 and say this guy's not up to date. Yeah. But the whole idea is there has to be evidence. No, I mean, that's what I mean. In every work you do, you're always going to have an appraisal.
Okay.
So that appraisal will actually be saying, well, I mean, on a regular basis, that this guy is performing, this guy's not performing. So whatever it is, I mean, for someone that's been performing for so long, then all of a sudden, they're saying he's not performing. So, yeah. So that appraisal will actually say, I mean, the law will actually, there are people who need to look into it, that, oh, why are you saying every year this guy's been doing well? Then all of a sudden, now, you're saying it's
things
not good
have
enough.
changed. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where the law will come in. And actually, I think what people need to do as well is that in that situation, they need to get advice. They need to seek advice. There's so many mental health advocates around. I mean, if people go to Mind, there's charity, which is a charity.
Okay.
They've got advocates that will actually fight for you. You could even go to Citizen Advice Bureau.
Within your
This is
bureau.
the way you feel. Yeah, bureau. So they will support you no matter what it is. So people need to always ask for help. I think that's another major issue, that we don't ask for help. That we try to deal with things ourselves. But when it gets to this kind of situation, you need someone who knows about it, who knows the in and out of whatever it is. And they'll be able to fight your case for you. So I believe the law works, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is evidence to actually back it up. You need to be able to prove that, oh, your employer is actually discriminating against you. So that's why they have tribunals and everything else. So if you have the evidence, then you need to fight it all the way. There's no two ways about it. So I believe the law works. I mean, it's just like me as a black person, I'm saying I'm being discriminated against at work. I wouldn't just take it and say, oh, yeah, well, I need to fight it. So the same thing that applies for mental health patients as well. If you have a mental illness and you think that you feel you're being discriminated against, you need to actually fight it. But like I said at the beginning, what it comes down to is the evidence. You need to be able to provide evidence that this is the case. Yeah. And once you get the correct support, you'll be able to fight it, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Before we proceed, you can start calling in now. The number to call in is 079 353 575. Can one of the admin please put it on the page on the Facebook? And if you're on the radio, if you look on the flyer we sent to you, the number to call is there, and you can also call wherever from any part of the world on the WhatsApp as well. So you can call to ask any question in terms of. So Ola, while we are waiting for the calls to come through, as an individual, what can we do so that we don't actually live in that box? Because to me, when somebody is being labeled, it kind of reduces, you understand, their strength to be able to perform as an individual. So as an individual, what advice do you have for people who are struggling? Because now everybody is not as bold. I think we have a caller. We'll pick that call and we'll come back. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome on your program, Earth Matters.
Good evening. It's good to have you back, Elizabeth, and
Thank
welcome, Mr. Ola Sedensi. I hope
There, that's
Good
right.
evening. I'm really pleased that
Good
you
evening.
mentioned about mental health, the stigma attached to it, especially with our community in Africa, mainly Nigeria, because it has been an issue from the ongoing, and mainly in it's being more incorporated in men because men have seem to be strong, which is okay. It's strong, and it's kind of like what you were saying, that toughen up. They're trying to build you to be stronger and to face challenges. However, and I think it does affect when some men grow older, because they're unable to show the expression. It result in domestic violence as well,
Yep.
because it's been more pent up emotion and they're unable to express themselves, and then this comes out in aggression. Because if parents had encouraged the children from young age to express the feelings, that and don't bottle it. How do you feel? Do you feel like it's okay to cry? That doesn't mean you are R&D, like they would say, because in Nigeria, like, otutu R&D, meaning, just grizzling and being irritable. So, and it's not even that, because when you get it, most children get it from home, and then they go to school, then you have the teachers also reprimanding a child for being emotional, and then you have the friends as well teasing, and this just keeps growing older and on, and then you have the child turns into an adult, and the same thing, and you have his mate not being truthful to themselves and just showing, and then you want to show a little bit of emotion. And now people are seeing that Nigerians are we do have depression. Because I did have this debate with someone, I won't mention the name. So I did have this debate with someone, and he said, "Oh no, Nigerians don't get depressed. We don't get depressed.
Me
God
too.
forbid, because we put religion in everything.
Everything.
We do get depressed, but we try. And but the good thing about our resilience is we try not to stay depressed. It's okay to be down. Like I say, it's okay to be down, but don't stay down.
Down.
Whatever emotions you're going through, you want to cry, cry. You want to jump up for joy, rejoice for joy. You just want to be by yourself, but don't stay. Too much of everything is not good. And I'm really glad that we're encouraging this and promoting this. And then just to let people know that it is okay to be upset. It is okay to be happy. It is okay, whatever emotions you're going through, please. And then you were saying about, and then fortunately in England, you have the Human Rights Act as well that supports this. And is it I think it's Article 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, just don't want to.
Please, whenever you're free, can you put it on the Facebook page, your Earth Matters page, please? Call live. Don't know if you're
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, the article, Human Rights Act, 1989. No,
Okay.
1998. Sorry, Human Rights Act 1998. Article 2, Right to Life, Equality, and Human Rights Commission. I think I'm really pleased that we're talking about this, and I think parents should be more open. My thing is we should all be more open, more, and be mindful, because our culture also, it is like, why are you fat? What if you're now fat? Is that a compliment? You're old. Is that a compliment? We should learn how to give real compliment, not insult. And if you don't have anything good to say, shut your mouth. Yeah, so I'm
That's
sorry
it.
for rambling.
Okay.
I think it's just that we should try to learn how to talk to what we can't, because we've got it in our culture to say whatever you can't take, don't say it to others. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm only just saying it.
Mm-hmm.
But words goes a long way. You
Yeah.
can't take it, but you give it out. We should educate ourselves. We should empower ourselves. We
Mm-hmm.
should stop knocking ourselves down. And this will even make our country greater, because we've come from, especially Nigeria, we've come from a very beautiful country. But it's just this word of mouth that keeps making us knock one another down. And I do appreciate, and I'm sorry for going on, but I'm quite passionate about this. Mental health is real. We should look after. And then one more thing. When you say we Nigerians, especially, we weary of the world well-being, oh, my mental state. When you say my mental health state, doesn't mean you're crazy. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean you've
No.
lost the plot. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean you're going mad. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean you're schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
You got schizophrenia. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean, it's just saying my mental well-being,
Pick
my
it. Pick it.
mental state. Meaning mental is your mind. It's a thing of the mind. I'm not in a good mental state. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean I'm going crazy. I'm going to go in the market and start ripping things apart. It's just saying that I need to take care of my psychosis, my well-being. And because most people don't want to go to work and say, oh, I feel like I should take a mental well-being. You hear the, no, mental. They hear the mental bit and they run with that. We should take time for ourselves. If it's just sleeping, is that's what you need to rest, sleep. If you need to go for a walk, go for a walk. If you need to party, unfortunately we can't party now because of the uh, restrictions and lockdown. But whatever is good for you to exercise and enjoy your mental well-being, is not that you're crazy. Please let us publicize it, encourage people. Your mental well-being matters.
Mm-hmm.
Even in England and social work, they're giving us 1 hour weekly
Mm-hmm.
for mental well-being paid. Saying take 1 hour a week just to, embrace yourself, appreciate everything that is going well.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that are not going well, that's not the end of the world. Talk to someone, speak to someone, be free. I'm sorry for rambling on. I'm just
That's
catching
right.
my breath.
Thank you
But
so much,
thank you
Kola.
so much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Kola.
you,
I've
thank
got a
you,
lot
thank you
of
very
calls
much. Bye
coming
bye.
in now.
All
Thank you
right,
so
thank
much.
you. Bye
Thank you so
bye.
much. Can you please call back? Somebody's been calling, and I've got someone on the phone already. That's holding. Sorry. Hello, you're welcome on today's program, X Matters.
Yeah, hello, good evening. My name is Ola Ojeneye, and I'm calling from Nigeria.
Oh, hi, Ola. Thank you so much for calling on the program today.
You're welcome. I just want to say that well done for the topic. It's a very important and relevant topic to everyone, especially in the Black and ethnic minority um, group.
Mm-hmm.
And well done, Mr. Ola Shano. My namesake. You actually
Thank you,
doing
sir.
justice to the topic today.
Thank you.
I think, my own contribution is that we all have to be open
Mm-hmm.
to everybody. The fact that people have mental health issue doesn't mean that they can't do certain things, because that is where people tend to stigmatize.
Mm-hmm.
Because when people who have mental health issue do something, even if it's the same thing that me and you we do ordinarily,
Mm-hmm.
they will turn it to something else. That is stigmatization. People should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. It is when it goes beyond what an ordinary person will do that you will then step back to say, okay, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, if I can shout or scream at somebody,
Mm-hmm.
someone that have mental health issues should be able to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get angry
Mm-hmm.
or restless for something that I get frustrated about,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that have mental health issue should be able to do the same thing. But if you then start to say that it's because of the condition, then that is stigmatization. That's how I say we should be open to everybody and be honest
Mm-hmm.
in what we do. That's just my own contribution.
Thank you
But
so much,
it's
Ola.
an issue that is particular about our culture, our black race, that in some areas they don't even want to talk about it. They don't want people to hear about it. But that will not help us. We need to speak up so that we can get help.
Thank you so much, Ola. Thank you so much. I've got other people calling. Thank you so much, Ola. Can you please call back? I've got somebody's been trying to call. The line is now open. You can call on 079 or you can call on the WhatsApp 07870167525. Earlier on, Ola, the first caller actually she sound like a professional. She made mention about the way we talk sometimes to our children. That is actually some things we parents need to look into. Sometimes you're trying to make them eat less, maybe they're adding weight. You need to be mindful. I've seen other kids sometimes that they stop eating, you understand, because you're saying to them they're getting fat, and they get to school, their colleagues are telling them they're getting fat. All these pieces and pieces actually piled up. It stays in their body, in their brain, and as they're growing up, they have this impression about themselves, and it kills the self-esteem gradually.
Yeah.
It kills the self-esteem. If a child is adding weight, you don't need to tell them. Can you please call? The number is open now. I've got a lot of people trying to call earlier on that they can't get through. So can you please call back now and on the numbers? So I think as a family, as a parent, we need to be mindful of the way we speak to our children growing up, you understand? Because we know that people are men, like, the kind of people that had that upbringing that you have, you understand? If not for the fact that you're actually enlightened, you're aware now, you understand? Some people still back home that they still live and believe a man should not break down, a man should not cry, a man should not show emotions, you see. So we were talking earlier on that as an individual, how do I come out of this box that the society or family or institution has put me into? So before we receive other calls, so how do I come out of it?
Well, I think, I think it's just straightforward, really. Once someone thinks they've got a mental illness, the first thing is they need to go and get treatment. Definitely, once they get treatment, they get their appropriate help, they'll be okay. I mean, that's the first step actually into the right direction. And I think the issue is that people should try and work on their self-doubt and the shame, because when people shame them or they get self-doubt, or actually get their own self-doubt, then they're actually defeating themselves already before they actually do anything about themselves, really. So they need to kind of think, oh, this is just an illness. This is not me. I mean, once I get a treatment, I'll be okay. So that's actually them.
We have a caller. We'll come back, Ola.
Yeah, right.
Hello, welcome on today's program, your Health Matters Show.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. Welcome on Health Matters program.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for you guys putting on a good show.
Thank you.
I've got a very a question that I would say is light-hearted. Other people might not see it that way.
Okay, go ahead, please.
We are told to express our emotions.
Okay.
But when it comes to the royal family, we also hear that they're not allowed to show their emotions. How does that balance things out for us, the common man? That's my question.
Did you get the question, Ola?
Yes, I did. I think, that is it's kind of. I know the caller said it's light-hearted, but it's kind of serious question actually. We all know what's going on with the royal family at this point in time, and I think that the reason people can't show their maybe they've been trained not to show their emotions. Part of it is being what is actually happening with the royal family, that there's kind of like breakups. And if you look at that family, there's so many things that's actually happened. They've not actually lived a normal life like everybody else. So someone like, Prince Harry, it seems like a free spirit, but unfortunately, he needs to toe the line. So that turning the line is not actually being himself, unfortunately for him. But at the same time, he needs to show to the public that, this is who we are, we're the royal family, we need to kind of put up front. And that's the problem. Putting up a front is an issue. If you're not actually acting out yourself, if you're not being yourself, in public. So that will actually affect you in terms of your self-esteem, just like you mentioned before. You're not being yourself. You cannot do things you want to do. That is going to obviously affect you in
On the
some way.
Facebook.
And unfortunately, it will affect your mental health. Because if you're supposed to be this happy-go-lucky person in front of everyone, but deep down, you've just lost your mom. You cannot show your bereavement. You cannot actually grieve your mom. You cannot grieve your mom. Your mom's, I mean, this is someone that's very close to you, but unfortunately for you, you cannot do that. You cannot show it because it'll be seen as a weakness. So that will actually have a psychological effect on that individual. So putting up a front is not the best. You need to actually show people who you are. Be the person you want to be. Everyone has got a right to be whoever they want to be. So that is a major thing. My main point actually is that yeah, the royal family have been told or they've been trained or taught not to show their emotions in public. Yeah, but what effect does that have on them as individuals? You know, as a family, what effect does that have? That someone lost their mom, you cannot you cannot actually show your grieving. That's a
It's hard.
difficult thing, and it would actually leave a long-lasting psychological effect
Of
on
course.
that individual. So definitely, for them, they might not show it, but it's not really a way forward. Putting up a front is not the best. I mean, you need to show who you are to everyone, really.
Hello? Does that answer your question?
Kind of, kind of. You know.
So does that mean you did not agree with the response?
Sorry, say that again.
Does that mean you did not agree with the response?
No, no, no. I agree with part of the response.
So what's your take on that then?
Well, I'm not sure if people not being able to show their emotions affects their long-term mental health. A typical example would be people from the African continent, like myself. We've grown up, been taught to be strong, as you guys discussed earlier. Okay, and now all of a sudden we have a changeover. We live in a society where they want us to share our emotions, and that is difficult. It's very difficult when you've been brought up to man up, be strong, just like the royals have been, and now you're being told to show your emotions. It's a difficult balancing act to play.
If I get what you're saying rightly, it's hard as an African man to show your emotion. Is that what you're saying?
Because of the way we've been brought up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just the same can apply to the royal family.
Royals. Okay.
They've been brought up to be strong, not to show their emotions, whether in public or in private. So for society then to turn around and say the rest of the people should show their emotions, it's kind of dicey, you know. It's like they're sending two different messages.
Yeah, I think the issue here is that they're two different cultures as well. I mean, in our culture, we've been taught or we've been trained not to show our emotions. In this country, in this culture, actually, people are actually advised or encouraged to show their
Come
emotions.
out. Okay.
You know, so that's where the conflict will come in. Two different cultures. So, which one? I mean, I understand that back in the day in Nigeria, or wherever, and Africa, we've been shown not to. But some people have actually coped well, and some people have not actually coped very well. So the ones that have actually left out, that's the unfortunate thing. That some people have not been able to cope, but we've not actually been able to unlike them.
But even in the Western world, is it not recently that all of these things came out about showing your emotions. These people went into Africa and trained us and taught us these things. So, as I'm concerned, it's only very recently that they started turning things around, telling people to express and show their emotions.
I think I totally agree with what the caller is saying. Thank you so much. Because in the sense that recently, just late last year, around November or December, there's this popular DJ that we had that actually committed suicide. And people that was actually with this guy a night before he actually killed himself, they said he was complaining that he's feeling depressed. He was walking I think he went to do their DJ stuff, and he was complaining of actually not feeling good, low immune. And the guys around were like, can you shut up? Where you mourning like a woman? You see, rather than people to kind of listen to him and know what is happening around him, it was when he died that people were now like, oh my God. And he was trying to say something last week. So even in Africa, the culture is not working for us anymore because things are changing. People are traveling just like you now and I. We are not living back home anymore. We are exposed to a lot of teachings. We can see and what is working back home. Don't forget the family network back home is stronger than here. If you agree with me, you go to work, you come back. How many times do you talk to your next door neighbor? Even your family here, how many times do you see them? But back home, people kind of have this closeness. They look, they hang out, they're very close. But it's still not working. People still committing suicide, even back home. So I think I totally agree. And we can be saying to some people, like the royal family, in a way, I agree. Because that is their culture. You will be trained when you're going to the royal family. This is a way of life. You understand? And I think people have choice. You want to go there, you must abide by the rules. You don't want to go there, you back out. So I think it's your decision. And if you make a decision, you face the consequences. But I don't support that because some people are in the royal house, they should not show or they're not entitled to show their emotions. Everybody should be entitled to show their emotions and get healed. If you talk, then you get support, then you get ill. The more you bottle in, the more damages you get. So in a way, I think I agree with the two of you. And I think we need to say to people, black men, women, everybody, you need to talk about your emotion. It is okay to cry. I say to my husband, it is okay to cry. It is okay to cry. Why not? It is okay. My husband believes in that philosophy as well. Men should not be crying. Why? It is okay to cry. If you want to cry, cry. Why not? You're not made. You're a human, for goodness sake. You're not a stone. You're not. It's not like there is something special about men.
There is not special about men.
There we go. Someone is giving me a look here as well. So I think I totally agree. Thank you so much, Cole. I think I totally agree in a way to say, we are going to have different opinions about all this family royals thing, but I think the bottom line is that everybody should be entitled to vent, to talk about their feelings. Thank you so much.
That's a key word there.
Yeah.
To talk about feelings.
To talk about their feelings and get to work. Thank you.
It's quite important.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kola. So the number to call, I can still take one more call before we round up, one or two more call, is 079 353 So you can call on that number to contribute or tell us about your opinion. So before the call came in earlier, we were talking about the parents that we need to be mindful of the way we'll. So I think we have a call. Oh, we have a call, two caller. Okay, we have two calls coming in at the same time. So hello, can you tell them to call back? Hello, you're welcome on your Health Matters show.
Oh, hello. Good evening.
Good evening. You're welcome on Health Matters program.
Thank you. I just wanted to check with you.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, I just wanted to check with you.
Okay.
Yeah, regarding if I have a child or if I have a family.
Okay.
who is not able to express themselves,
Okay.
but see that the child is struggling, how would you support a child like that so that it doesn't go down the route of mental health issues because the child is struggling?
Did you get the question?
That's
Ola?
No,
So if you have a
not,
child and the child is not what? Sorry, I missed that as well.
it's not expressing themselves.
yes.
How like what age are we talking about? Age range?
12, 13.
12, 13, and they're not able to express themselves.
Yes, because there has been issues in the family and they are not able to express themselves. How would you help a child like that to express themselves?
Ola?
Well, I think that the main thing actually is to get professional help. I know. I think you mentioned something just now that you don't want to go down the mental health route, and that's where the issue is. Why don't you want to go down the mental health route?
Because of the label.
Yeah. So it's part of the labeling, but the main thing is you don't actually. It doesn't have to be mental health related. There are some different professional groups or places that you could go to. There is speech therapy if the person has got issues in actually expressing themselves. There's speech therapy actually that would have been picked up in school anyway. But if it's something personal, all you could do is just keep on encouraging them. Try to not set up any barriers between you and the child or whoever the person is. Try to actually discuss a few things. Let them know. Maybe tell them something about yourself that you're struggling with, so that you encourage them for them to actually discuss their own issues as well. So, but the main thing is that if things are not, if something is, if it's something that you cannot cope with, it's better to always seek professional help. I mean, I'm talking to you. It doesn't mean I have all the answers, but there is that's the good thing with this country. With the health system in this country, there is always help out there for you, no matter what it is. And the most important thing we need to be doing is to ask for the help if we need it. So there are, I think it's something we could put into the group chat later on in terms of different types of professional helps
Okay.
that is available to people in terms of helping them to helping kids to express themselves. There's speech therapy. There's other groups as well. So we could pile up a list and put it in the chat later on.
What about as a
Approve that.
parent? How do I help my child to develop the skill to talk to me or to talk to other people when they shut down?
Let me quickly answer that question. In terms of the age, this is 12. We're talking about a 12 and 13 years old child here. So, like the speaker said, the guest said earlier on, that needs to be picked up. If you really want to help this child, I know you're trying to avoid being labeled, but what you need to consider is that, is this about you or about the child? Is it about you being labeled or about you getting the professional help now that you can get it before this child grows into a teenager and it becomes a big issue? Don't forget that when a child is not able to express themselves, they have anger. They have almost chances of having anger issue because they react with their hands if they're not able to express themselves. I'm talking from experience. I have a child within this range, you understand? And I don't care about the label. From the primary school, I make sure he was getting speech and language support. I make sure that because he's not doing the same curriculum, he's attending a special needs school. I don't care what label anybody wants. All I'm after is about the growth and the support my child needs and is getting. And because this child is going to a special needs school, depending on, obviously I can see you're calling from UK. So all you need to do is just go to the GP and get a referral straight. And this child needs to be a sex, then they will know what needs. And obviously, they will refer this child to the professionals. You will be trained on, you will get, there's something they call carer support. When my child was going through speech and language therapy, they were supporting me. They will give you leaflets on what to be doing, tasks to be doing at home with this child. So if you're saying because of the label, that means you're telling me as a mom that I don't want support because I'm concerned. I'm so much concerned about the label people are putting on me. Because that child is not going to be labeled. You're the one who is going to be labeling. But are you so much particular about that, or you want support for your child? You need to be able to decide what you want. So I've got a lot of people trying to call
Very
in.
much.
Yeah, thank you so much, caller. So please, you can call in because I've got 2 calls hold on earlier on. Please, you can call in now on any of the numbers. So on 079 sorry, 079 I'm going to wrap up just one more call before we go now. So what I'm actually saying in essence is that it's still down to the stigma. I don't want people to think my child. I've got a call on the call. 1 minute. We'll pick this. Hello, you're working on Health Matters program.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I've been following your program.
Thank you.
Thanks for the topic.
Thank you.
Actually, it's something I wanted to discuss with regard to the previous callers.
Okay.
Yeah? I think there was a lady, she mentioned something the way we speak to our children.
Okay.
And also the other guy who discussed about the way African children are brought up back home and the way African children are brought up in this country.
Okay.
However, looking deeper from that conversation, my opinion, just personal opinion, is I'm thinking about culture, I'm thinking about respect and stigma. The moment somebody says they've got mental health issues, there is a label. The moment they discuss with their family, then even though they might get the support of the family, but extended family, there is the issue. Yeah. And also when we talk about culture, culture seems to go in hand with stigma. And then people will say, I don't want so and so to get married to that family. Or I don't want that person to work with that family. And it's a good thing you actually mentioned about the legal parts of things, about Equality Act, at work. And I've also dealt with people, speaking as a professional, you have to advise people what they need to do with regard to other things, with regard to their work. And you did mention as the host that there are things people are entitled to which they are not sure of. However, how do we then deal with the culture and the stigma? And also, when you want to talk, I've got people that I know that they can come out, even though you can say they've got the mental health challenges. However, they can't come out and talk about it. And they can't, these are people I'm really close to. And you want to help them. However, the stigma is still, is still there. What is my employer going to say? What is my family going to say? What are my friends going to say? And then also one thing that was mentioned earlier was we talk about religion. We put everything in religion. Do we need to start to talk about mental health challenges in spiritual or religious places in order to start changing people's mindset? So I just want you to give me your opinions about it to Mr. Ola and yourself, whether there are things we can do in order that people don't feel reluctant to seek treatment or, or social rejection and things like that. So I'm hoping you'll be able to help just for discussion.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kola. Thank you so much, Kola.
Right.
Thank you so much. Cheers. Thank you. Bye. Ola, I'm thinking I've got another caller on the line, still holding on. We might need to bring you back, We might need to bring you back and do a part 2 of this program. So because
no problem. So far you pay me, that's fine.
Okay, hello.
Hello, it's only me.
Hello, welcome on Health Matters program. Sorry, I've got to wrap up now. No more calls. Please, can you I've got another caller. Can you turn off the phone? Because I've got just 5 more minutes to wrap up. So
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, go on, go on, please.
Well, all I want to say is, I really appreciate this because I think it's a kind of awareness
Thank you.
in our community, especially Black community. And people talking about stigma because of that, they're not getting the necessary help that they actually need. Maybe this will open the way that not everyone with mental health issues that will not go on to live a very fulfilled life. When people know what they have and you know how to look after yourself, nothing is stopping you from enjoying life. People are on medication for so many other medical health issues, yet they're fine. You can hardly know what is going on with them. And if people can actually see mental health issues as the same, we wouldn't have any problem. But we still need to train our minds as Black people to understand it, that it is not a life sentence. That's it.
Oh, thank you so much, sis. I think on the next show, you probably will need to come back because I know you definitely have a lot to say. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Thank you for calling. I think it's going to be all for now. Thank you so much to all the callers and everyone putting comment on the Facebook and on the radio station. We'll come back to it. And obviously, Ola, I can't take that call. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Reason being is that we normally show the program on Ben TV, and they cannot accommodate more than 1 hour on the show.
Yeah.
So every calls after this will not be aired. So I won't be able to air the program if it's more than 1 hour. So please, we'll probably will have to bring Ola back because it's actually a topic that is affecting our day-to-day activities. And look, you could see the pain of a mom calling earlier on. She wants support for her child. She's scared of the label, and I don't blame her. At a time, I was like that. And I was weighing at a point, I was like, they said if I need to get support for my child, he has to be receiving some benefit. And I don't want the label. I don't want my child to be put under any disability thing. And I was like, no, if that's the criteria, I don't want it. For years, I was panicking. I didn't get the support. And I just made up my mind and I was like, you know what? I don't care anymore. And I just went straight for the support you needed but at a point I was leaving. So my advice is that as parent, please, don't ignore whatever people will say. Go straight for the support, please. Go straight for the support. And look, you don't have to make people know what you're doing. Go privately for your support. Obviously, the GP knows about confidentiality. They will not disclose about whatever. So today, I want to say thank you to Ola. Thank you so much for all the callers, to everybody that joined on the Facebook. We will probably come back next week, next month. We'll bring this topic back so that we can, if there is need to, if I see any more reason to, because I wouldn't want to come back and there's nothing to say about it. If there's need to, we'll come back. So till then, I say thank you so much. Bye. Bye.